Hey, you know what? It turns out not setting your house on fire with your e-bike is actually pretty easy. Want to find out how? Come on in. Hey there, bike rider. Thanks for tuning in to Cyclecraft TV and this week's episode of Tuesday Tech Tips. You know, a question we get in the shop here a lot is about the safety of e-bikes with regard to whether or not they're going to burn your house down. You don't have to burn your house down with an e-bike if you just follow some very simple common sense guidelines. Let's get into it. All right, listen, my first tip is don't buy junk. All right? You know what I mean by that is spend a little bit of extra money. Now, I know your budget is your budget, but if you spend a little bit of extra money on getting a bike with a quality battery and a charger, you're much less likely to burn your house down. Capiche? So you know who makes a good quality battery? Bosch. You know who makes a terrible battery? I don't know, whoever's responsible for this abomination I found on Amazon. Just don't buy this junk. Oh, and another thing, make sure you use the charger that came with your battery. Occasionally, a charger does go bad and someone will buy a cheap replacement for it online. The problem is you have no idea if the voltages match and or the pins are lined up correctly to make your battery work with that charger. Always a bad idea. Make sure that you get the charger replacement for the battery that you have for your bike. And for that matter, if you're getting a new battery, make sure you get a battery that the manufacturer made for the bike. Cheap replacement batteries are never a good idea. And don't leave your batteries on the charger all the time. A good quality battery and charger will actually have a cutoff switch that will turn the circuit off once you reach full voltage. But it's best practice not to leave it plugged in anyway. Manufacturers recommend that you only keep 60 to 80% of your charge on the battery, and you don't really need more than that if you're storing it. Now, you don't want to let it fall below like 20% of the charge if you store it for a really long time, but a little bit of topping up every now and then is fine. And here's another pro tip for you. Don't store your batteries in the garage over the winter time. Batteries don't like being cold. Remember, if you're cold, they're cold. So bring your batteries inside. You can leave your bike outside, that's not a problem. And you can use your bike in the cold weather. That's not really a problem. It's just batteries don't like being cold for an extended period of time. Another tip for charging your battery is don't do it in a little tiny enclosed space. And for crying out loud, don't cover these things up while you're charging. Not too smart. I've seen it done before though. Your battery and charger will get a little warm during the charging cycle, but you don't want it to get super hot. So leaving it out in a more open space to allow the battery and the charger to stay cool will obviously help prevent any kind of malfunction. And another thing, and I shouldn't have to say this, but if you crash and or get any other kind of damage to the case of the battery, by all means, please replace the battery. Obviously, the cracked case can allow stuff to go on that you don't want going on. And if you are going to get a new battery after it goes kaput, because over time, you know, your battery is worth about 500 full charge cycles, you're going to want to replace the battery, but don't just take the old battery and throw it in the trash. You want to bring the battery to a certified recycling center like Cyclecraft so that we can dispose of the battery properly. Well, there you have it. E-bikes are fun and safe if you just use some common sense guidelines and don't do stupid stuff like trying to modify the motor or the battery with some kooky stuff you found on Amazon. Any questions about that? Go ahead and leave me some comments below and I'll be sure to get you the right answer. That's it for this week's Tuesday Tech Tip. Thanks for watching Cyclecraft TV. And don't forget, keep that rubber side down.